Hey, everybody, look at that. From MSNBC's All In, it's Chris Hayes. What's a story that is happening right now that is not getting enough coverage, you think?
The biggest one, I think, actually, is that they put in a freeze on all grant applications and review, and it appears even clinical trials that are happening at the National Institutes of Health. This lab,
Really?
which is started in the New Deal in the 30s,
Yeah.
as you know, because your father worked there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was head of world immunology and extramural affairs.
So what happened, they didn't really advertise this, but what happened was we started getting reports from scientists being like, I was going to go to a panel that's calendared in 2 weeks where we do review grant applications. It just got canceled. People with clinical trials getting canceled. It appears that they have just put a full freeze on all of the science.
Was one of Trump's donors disease?
Yes, yes. Yes, skin cancer, you know, yeah, exactly.
It was all in crypto, but we know that's where it came from.
No, it's really wild.
Who does that benefit?
Okay, here's what's crazy about this. A, none of this was communicated. B, we sort of found out about this somewhat through reporting and because of...
You mean not communicated how? Like not communicated to the public? There's no press release, no...
Right. As opposed to, say, the deportations where he's got Fox riding along with ICE.
Dr. Phil.
Or Dr. Phil.
Exactly.
Obviously, you want Dr. Phil at the deportations.
No, I think that was a rookie mistake. You go with Dog the Bounty Hunter. or Phil the Bounty Doctor, one of those two.
So what was weird about this is they didn't seem to publicize it. We haven't gotten a great explanation. The best that we can tell, again, no one's really been particularly upfront about this, what we think is happening. And again, this is not definitive, but the best that we can piece it together is there is a lot of health equity work being done by the National Institutes of Health. And what we think might be a plausible thing happening is they've frozen all grants because they want to go through and they want to take out all grants that have to do with health equity. Which means like disparate
how does this
impact.
affect this part of the population as opposed to that part of the population? Wow. So they'd like to know less.
They want us to know less. They definitely want the federal government to be worse, more incompetent, and stupider in the main.
Well, okay. Let's talk about your new book.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a good transition.
Yeah.
We in the business.
Yeah, well done.
Speaking of worse and stupider, you have a new book. It's called The Siren Call. What is The Siren Call?
In the Homeric epic, the Odyssey, Odysseus is taking his leave of Circe, and she warns him about the sirens, which are these mysterious creatures, women that will lure you to death with their song.
Oh, they sing from the rocks.
They sing from the rocks, and your ship will run into the docks, and they will warble you to death. And she instructs him that if you want to avoid that fate, what you have to do is bind yourself to the mast of your ship, stuff wax in the ears of your crew, so that they will not listen to you when you beg for them to follow the sound of the siren. And that is, to me, that condition of being on the mast, trying to regulate our own attention against forces that want to take our attention away from us to our own peril, is the ubiquitous experience of modern life in this moment.
Social media, the internet,
all of it.
Doom scrolling.
All of the constant competition done at scale by the world's largest and most powerful corporations, many of whom CEOs were up on right next to the incoming president in his inauguration.
All of whom.
Basically all of them.
Yes.
Who operate at the scale of billions of users, extracting our attention and monetizing that attention.
We're going to take a quick break here, but we'll be right back with more Chris Hayes, everybody.